Welcome back, deep divers. Today we're going deep into some fascinating concepts. Soul language, even diabetes.
Oh, wow.
It's all thanks to a lecture you sent in by Imam Benjamin Bilal.
Yeah. You know what struck me most about Imam Bilal's lecture?
Hmm.
Was his approach to the soul.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he didn't just define it. He sort of explored it through the word itself.
He went deep into the word soul.
Exactly. He connected the English word soul with its Arabic and Latin counterparts. Like, the origins of the word held clues to its deeper meaning.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Right?
So what did he say the soul's all about?
Well, he emphasized that the soul is something to be cherished, nurtured, like a precious treasure. And then he contrasted this with the concept of loss,
Interesting.
which he linked directly to neglecting the soul.
He connected soul and loss, huh?
Yes, and he even brought in the word soul, like the sole of your foot,
Right.
symbolizing something foundational, something that you stand upon. Like,
Yeah.
our souls are meant to be strong and supportive.
Makes you think how we treat our own souls. Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do we nurture them or neglect them?
Right. And speaking of nurturing, Imam Bilal really stressed the importance of social interaction
Yes.
for the soul's well-being.
Yeah.
He even argued that prolonged isolation, like solitary confinement, could damage the soul.
It makes sense, right?
It does.
Yeah.
Humans are social creatures.
Mm-hmm.
We thrive on connection.
Yeah.
He wasn't afraid to tackle some tough topics either, was he?
No, he wasn't.
I mean, I heard he even critiqued social distancing measures during the pandemic.
He did.
Yeah.
He acknowledged the importance of protecting physical health during a crisis, but also raised concerns about the long-term impact of isolation on our souls. It's a perspective that makes you think about the whole picture.
Definitely adds another layer to the conversation about public health.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got this soul that needs nurturing, it needs connection.
Uh-huh.
Then Imam Bilal dives into the power of language itself,
Yes.
right? I read about this concept of mimetics. Did he talk about that?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Mimetics is this incredible way of exploring the hidden connections between words across different languages. He focuses on consonant interchange, which shows how words that seem completely different can actually share a common root and therefore a deeper connected meaning.
Okay, I need an example. That sounds really abstract.
Okay, sure. So he used diabetes and the Arabic word dibaton. Dibaton means moving creature.
Whoa, diabetes and a moving creature.
I know, right?
I never would have connected those two.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It is.
He's basically saying that there's a whole world of meaning hidden beneath the surface of language.
Right?
He even suggested that if you invert a word, you might uncover its opposite meaning,
Interesting.
like soul and loss.
So if we learn to decode these hidden connections, we can gain a deeper understanding of the world.
That's the idea, and it's not just theoretical knowledge, it has practical implications too.
Okay.
Remember his example of diabetes being like a moving creature?
Oh, right. It's almost like he's personifying the disease
Yeah.
to help us understand how it operates within the body.
Exactly. He uses that analogy to explain how diabetes, like a destructive creature, travels through the body causing damage, and he links it back to the Arabic word dibaton, emphasizing how the disease's nature mirrors the word's meaning.
That's a powerful way to frame it.
It is.
But he doesn't just stop at explaining the disease, right? He goes deeper into its root causes.
He does, and he challenges some conventional thinking about diabetes.
Okay.
He doesn't just focus on genetics.
Right.
He points to what he calls chronic sugar poisoning and insulin toxicity as the primary culprits.
Now, wait a minute. Can you break that down for me? What exactly is insulin toxicity?
Sure. It's when your body's cells become resistant to the effects of insulin, the hormone that regulates blood sugar.
Right.
This resistance makes it harder for your body to use glucose for energy, leading to high blood sugar levels and ultimately potentially to diabetes.
Okay, that makes sense. And what about this chronic sugar poisoning? Is he literally talking about poison?
Well, not in the traditional sense.
Okay.
He's using the term poisoning metaphorically to highlight the detrimental effects of constantly bombarding our bodies with excessive sugar. He argues that years of overloading our system with sugar throws our insulin levels out of whack, creating this perfect storm for diabetes to develop.
So it's like we're slowly poisoning ourselves with sugar without even realizing it.
That's the point he's trying to make, and what's even more concerning is that our society seems to encourage this overconsumption of sugar.
You mean like all the sugary drinks and processed foods that are everywhere?
Exactly. He's critical of how we're constantly bombarded with messages pushing overindulgence,
Right.
especially when it comes to sugary foods and drinks. And there's this lack of emphasis on proper nutritional education.
Right.
It's like we're not given the tools to understand how sugar truly impacts our bodies.
Right. It's like we're driving a car without knowing how the engine works, and then we wonder why it breaks down.
Exactly.
But this all sounds pretty bleak.
Yeah.
Is there any hope?
Yes, absolutely. This is where Imam Bilal's message becomes really empowering.
Okay.
He emphasizes that we have the power to reverse diabetes or even prevent it altogether through conscious lifestyle changes.
So it's not a life sentence you can actually reverse diabetes.
That's amazing, right?
It is. It is. But how do you do it? Did he offer any specific advice?
He did. He gave 5 key recommendations.
Okay.
Eliminating soft drinks, avoiding refined sugars and flours, limiting fruit juice consumption, staying away from sugar-free drinks.
Okay.
And this one's really important, reading labels carefully to identify hidden sugars.
Right.
It's about taking back control of your health.
Right.
One choice at a time.
It sounds like a solid roadmap for anyone looking to improve their health, even if they don't have diabetes.
Yeah.
But I imagine making such big changes can be overwhelming. What did he say about that?
He stressed the importance of working with a healthcare provider,
right.
especially for those who rely on insulin,
Right.
because making significant dietary changes can impact your medication needs.
Sure.
So professional guidance is crucial for a safe and effective transition.
That makes a lot of sense. It's not about going it alone.
Right.
It's about empowering yourself with knowledge.
Yeah.
And seeking support from professionals.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've talked about the soul, the power of language, and even practical strategies for reversing diabetes. But there's more, right? I read something about chakras.
You're right. This is where Imam Bilal takes us even deeper into the realm of energy and spirituality.
Okay.
He explains chakras as revolving discs of energy, located throughout the body, each influencing different aspects of our development and well-being.
Revolving discs of energy, like little spinning wheels inside of us.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued, but a little lost, to be honest.
Think of them as energy centers that govern different aspects of our physical, emotional, and spiritual selves. He links these 7 chakras to concepts from both Islam and the Bible.
Oh, wow.
Showing how this idea of energy centers resonates across different spiritual traditions.
So it's not just an Eastern concept, it's found in Western traditions too.
Exactly.
Interesting. Can you give me some examples of these chakras and what they do?
Absolutely. So he starts with the root chakra at the base of the spine, which is all about our basic needs, survival, and feeling grounded.
Okay.
Then there's the sacral chakra, which relates to our emotions, creativity, and sensuality. And as you move up the body, each chakra governs increasingly complex aspects of our being,
Right.
all the way up to the crown chakra at the top of the head,
Okay.
which connects us to the divine.
So it's like a ladder of energy from our earthly needs to our spiritual connection.
Exactly.
But what does it mean to have balanced chakras? And how do you even know if they're balanced or not?
That's a great question, and something we'll delve into more deeply in the next part of our deep dive.
Ooh, a cliffhanger. Okay. I can't wait to hear more about these fascinating energy centers and how they relate to our overall well-being.
It's going to be good.
All right.
So to answer your question about balanced chakras, Imam Bilal explains that when our chakras are balanced, energy flows freely through them, promoting a sense of harmony and well-being. But when they're blocked or out of alignment, it can manifest as physical, emotional, or even spiritual imbalances.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like if a pipe gets clogged, the water can't flow properly.
Yeah, exactly.
So what causes these blockages in our energy centers?
Well, Imam Bilal suggests that negative thoughts, stress, trauma, even unhealthy lifestyle choices can contribute to these blockages.
Right.
He even links certain physical ailments to specific chakra imbalances. For example, he suggests that digestive issues might be connected to an imbalance in the solar plexus chakra, which governs personal power and self-esteem.
So it's not just about our physical bodies. Our emotional and spiritual well-being plays a role in our physical health too.
Precisely. And this is where it gets really interesting. Remember how we were talking about mimetics, the study of hidden connections in language?
Yeah.
Well, Imam Bilal believes that language can also be a tool for understanding and working with our chakras.
Wait, so words can influence our energy centers. How does that work?
He encourages us to look at the words associated with each chakra.
Right.
For example, the root chakra is often associated with words like grounded, stable, and secure.
Right.
Contemplating these words and what they mean to us can help us connect with that chakra's energy.
So it's like using language as a bridge to access these deeper parts of ourselves.
Exactly. And he takes it a step further, suggesting that specific sounds and vibrations can also influence our chakras.
Okay.
He talks about the practice of chanting and how different sounds resonate with different energy centers, helping to activate and balance them.
It's like each chakra has its own language, its own set of sounds and vibrations that we can use to communicate with it.
That's a really cool way to put it.
That's incredible. But I have to admit, all this talk about energy and chakras, it's a bit outside my usual frame of reference.
Sure.
How do I even know if this is something worth exploring further?
That's a valid question. And, Imam Bilal emphasizes the importance of personal experience. He encourages us to approach these concepts with an open mind and a willingness to experiment.
Right.
He suggests trying practices like meditation or yoga, which are often linked to chakra balancing, and see how they make you feel.
So it's not about blindly accepting everything he says, but rather using his insights as a starting point for our own exploration.
Exactly. It's about finding what resonates with you and incorporating it into your life in a way that feels authentic and empowering.
Right.
Remember, this is your deep dive. You get to choose which paths to explore and how deeply you want to go.
That's really encouraging. It's like he's giving us a map, but we get to choose our own adventure. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today. We've talked about the soul's need for connection, the hidden power of language, and even ventured into the realm of chakras and energy healing.
We have.
But wasn't there something about Imam Bilal challenging conventional religious interpretations?
You're right. He definitely doesn't shy away from questioning the status quo, especially when it comes to how we understand religious texts and spiritual concepts.
Okay.
He argues that true spirituality is about inner transformation, not just outward rituals or blind adherence to dogma.
So it's not about just going through the motions. It's about really living those spiritual principles in your daily life.
Precisely, he encourages us to engage with religious texts and traditions with a critical and discerning mind. Asking questions and seeking deeper understanding, he challenges the notion of blind faith, suggesting that true faith is rooted in knowledge and personal experience.
It sounds like he's advocating for a more active and engaged approach to spirituality, not just accepting things at face value.
Absolutely. He wants us to be active participants in our spiritual journey, not passive observers. And, that ties back to the whole idea of the deep dive.
Yeah.
It's about going beyond the surface, delving into the depths of knowledge and experience to uncover those hidden truths and connections.
So it's not just about listening to a lecture or reading a book. It's about taking that information and applying it to our own lives, making it relevant and meaningful.
Exactly. It's about integrating those insights into our thoughts, actions, and ultimately into our very being.
I have to admit, this entire conversation has been a real mind bender.
It has.
But it's also been incredibly inspiring.
Yeah.
It feels like Imam Bilal has given us a whole new set of tools to explore the world, both within ourselves and around us.
He has. He's given us a framework for understanding the soul, the power of language, and even the intricate energy system within our bodies.
Right.
But the real journey begins when we take those tools and use them to create our own masterpiece.
That's a beautiful analogy. It's like he's given us the paints and brushes, but it's up to us to paint our own picture of what a fulfilling and meaningful life looks like.
And the beauty of it is that there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's about finding what resonates with you, what speaks to your soul, and using that to guide your journey.
This is truly what the deep dive is all about: exploring ideas, making connections, and empowering ourselves with knowledge.
It is, and what's fascinating is that even though we've explored so much today, there's still so much more to uncover.
Right.
Every question answered leads to new questions. Every layer we peel back reveals another layer beneath.
That's the beauty of learning, isn't it? It's an ongoing process of discovery and growth. But before we get too carried away with all the possibilities, we need to bring this particular deep dive to a close. And I have to say, it's been an incredible journey. Your insights have been invaluable in helping us unpack these complex ideas.
It's been my pleasure. The real joy is in witnessing the spark of understanding it ignite in others. It's like watching a flower bloom in slow motion.
And to all our deep divers out there, thank you for joining us on this adventure.
We hope you've gained some valuable insights from this episode and are feeling inspired to continue exploring these fascinating topics on your own.
Wow, it really has been an eye-opening conversation. Imam Bilal's approach to knowledge is so unique, weaving together language, spirituality, and even health. It's not every day you hear someone connect diabetes to the power of words.
Right, like it's a testament to his belief that everything is interconnected.
Yeah.
He sees language as this key to unlocking these deeper truths, not just about ourselves, but the universe around us.
And that's where his concept of mimetics comes in, right?
Yeah.
He's basically encouraging us to become word detectives, uncovering those hidden meanings and connections.
Exactly. And it's not just about deciphering ancient texts. It's about looking at the words we use every day with fresh eyes, seeing how they shape our thoughts, our beliefs, even our physical health.
Like how he connected diabetes to the Arabic word for moving creature.
Yeah.
It made us think about the disease in a whole new way.
Yeah.
It's a powerful reminder that words have the power to both inform and transform.
Absolutely. And the more we understand those hidden connections, the more empowered we become to make conscious choices in our lives.
Right.
Whether it's choosing nourishing foods over sugary drinks
Yeah.
or cultivating positive thoughts over negative ones, language can be a powerful tool for change.
And it's like he's saying, once you see the world through the lens of mimetics, you can't unsee it. It
Right.
changes your whole perspective.
And that shift in perspective can be so incredibly liberating. It can open up new possibilities, new ways of understanding ourselves and our place in the world.
I think that's what I appreciate most about Imam Bilal's approach. He's not just giving us information.
Yeah.
He's giving us tools for transformation.
Yeah.
He's empowering us to take ownership of our health, our well-being, and our spiritual journey.
He is, and he does it in a way that's both thought-provoking and engaging.
Yeah.
He's not afraid to challenge conventional thinking,
Right.
to push us outside of our comfort zones and encourage us to question the status quo.
He's definitely given us a lot to chew on in this deep dive.
He has.
From the soul's need for connection to the power of language to those mysterious energy centers called chakras. It's been quite a ride.
It has, and I think what makes this journey even more compelling is that it's just the beginning.
Hey,
There's so much more to explore, so many more connections to discover.
that's the beauty of a deep dive like this.
It is.
It sparks our curiosity,
Yeah.
ignites our imagination, and leaves us wanting to learn more.
It's a reminder that the quest for knowledge is never truly over. There's always another layer to uncover, another insight to be gained, and that's what makes life so exciting.
So to all our listeners out there, we encourage you to keep exploring, keep questioning, keep diving deeper into the world around you and within yourselves.
And if this deep dive has sparked your interest in Imam Bilal's work, remember you can find more information at www.ultimatemasters.org/coaching.
And be sure to tune in daily for new episodes of The Deep Dive, where we'll continue to explore fascinating topics and bring you those aha moments that make learning a joy.
Until next time, keep those minds curious and those souls ignited.